Welcome to the Mountain Meditation. As a registered social worker and trained in mindfulness-based stress reduction, also a yoga teacher, I wanted to bring a mindfulness series here to this platform. So each Monday, there will be a new meditation release that you're encouraged to practice for the week and then return again on Monday for the up-and-coming video that will be released. And in this way, you start to grow your mindfulness practice at home. So we'll start here with the mountain meditation, and all of these meditations are influenced by either Jon Kabat-Zinn, the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, or some other really well-known teachers and some of my own influences. So it's a combination of all of the above. So I want to give credit to all of my teachers, both known and unknown, that have come into creating this particular platform. So please begin. Typically, the mountain meditation is done in a sitting position. However, if that's not comfortable, you can bring yourself down onto the floor or find another position that is suitable for you. Allow that position to be both stable and poised. And we either have the upper body balanced over our hips and shoulders in a comfortable but alert posture, or we imagine ourselves in this way if we have to be laying down. The hands rest in a relaxed way, perhaps by your side body or resting on your lap. Your arms are just resting there with their own weight, with the hands supported somewhere. You can think of them being like heavy curtains or a piece of clothing with the arms draping down from the hangers. Stable and relaxed just as they are. We begin by actually sensing into our body. In this way, we use the body to transcend the body. Sensing into your body, inviting you to begin down at your feet. Feeling into your feet. Feeling into your legs, your hips, the entire pelvic structure. Transitioning into feeling into the upper body, from your pelvis to your abdomen, your back and your chest, your hands and your arms, shoulders, the neck, and the head. Finishing at the peak of your pose. And if you are ready, you may allow your eyes to close, or perhaps allow them to be downcast just through slits. Or if it's preferable, if that causes any anxiety, you can continue to watch the image of the mountain presented on your screen. Begin to bring awareness to the breath, the actual physical sensations that are occurring in the body right now. Feeling each breath sensation as it comes in and as it moves out. Allowing the breath to simply be the breath. Making no effort to change it. No effort to regulate it. Allow it to flow easily and naturally. Allowing it to find its own rhythm, its own pace. its own amplitude and frequency. And know that you are breathing perfectly well right now as you are. There's nothing at all that you need to do. Allow the body, aside from the breath moving in it, to find a stillness. To be sitting with a sense of dignity in the body. A kind of a resolve to be here completely. And a sense of not only being here completely, but also simply being complete as you are. Whole. Complete. In this very moment, your posture is reflecting this sense of wholeness, completeness, just as you are. And as you sit, you're invited to allow an image to form in your mind's eye, the image of a mountain. This mountain is awe-inspiring. It may even be the most magnificent mountain you have ever seen or can imagine. Allowing it to gradually come into greater focus in the mind's eye. And it may be that that image doesn't present itself right away. This is of no concern, no worry. Even if that mountain image does not present itself, you can instead allow the sense of that mountain and the feeling of its overall shape be experienced in your body. Having a sense or a feeling, either with or without that image, of the large base of this mountain. Experiencing into or envisioning its fundamental strength of its base, the magnitude of its base, large, strong. And you can imagine or envision its highest peak in the sky. Seeing this mountain connected to both the bedrock below and its highest peak connected and entering into the sky above. Both deeply rooted and rising up. Broad, magnificent in its own beauty. Imagine its slopes. They may be steep. They may be gradual. They may be smooth or jagged. You're simply noticing all of these details, its massiveness, its sense of solidity, how that mountain is unwavering in its own beauty, unmoving and steadfast in its own beauty, its strength, its solidity. how resilient that mountain is. As you see the peak of the mountain, you may notice that its top, its peak, is blanketed in snow. And perhaps down below, closer to its base, you can see the growth of trees. Come up a little closer to your mountain. Stand near its base. Look up to its peak from down below and notice its massive structure up close. How solid it remains. How impressive. How steadfast in its nature. Unwavering. As you're up close, you may be able to take in more of its details. Maybe grass, moss, just noticing. Maybe even tiny plants or flowers growing on its granite. And as you move further away, taking more of the mountain in with your eyes, you may see streams, waterfalls. You may see animals gently roaming on the surface of the mountain. And yet the mountain remains untouched at its core. All of these events are happening on the mountain, and the mountain remains the mountain, steadfast and magnificent, unwavering, strong, stable, magnificent. Now see if you can, or you feel ready, to bring the mountain into your own body. Bring in the mountain in your mind's eye. Bring it in so close that as you sit here or you lay here, you share in these qualities of stillness, magnificence, strength, majesty. You become the mountain, grounded in your base, your head, the lofty peak. That lofty peak having an endless view, an endless view. It is from the solid base of your body that you're able to root, to connect, to find stability, allowing the spine to be like the center of the mountain, rising up, the very crown of your head, the lofty peak, rising to the sky with an endless view of clarity, Even if there are clouds, you're able to see beyond the clouds at the highest peak of the mountain. Clarity, endless clarity. You begin to notice that you're a breathing mountain, feeling a sense of aliveness and vitality, and simultaneously unwavering in your inner stillness. Breathing and unwavering, complete and whole in what you are. That you are beyond words, beyond thought, centered, grounded, unmoving presence, unwavering stillness. This is your nature. As this breathing mountain, there's an awareness of the sun traveling beyond the peak high in the sky. The beams of sunlight shining down on the mountain. And as the sun changes in the sky, it also changes the shadows and the colors virtually moment by moment on the surface of the mountain. Noticing that as the sun rises, the mountain seems to teem with life. Flowers may unfurl. Animals may wake and skitter around. This surface of the mountain is teeming with life and an abundance of activity. And yet the mountain itself remains unwavering. And the day passes and the sun begins to set. And the night sky becomes evident as night follows day, perhaps observing stars in the sky. A coolness comes to the air. The animals go to sleep. Perhaps the nocturnal animals are ready to begin their day. And yet through it all, the mountain simply sits, experiencing these changes moment by moment, these constant changing moments. And yet the mountain remains the mountain, still, stable, unwavering in its nature. It is calmness. It abides as calmness, regardless of any changes on its surface. Its nature is one of stillness. Your nature is one of stillness, regardless of what is going on in the external world. None of the changing seasons matter to the mountain. The heat of the summer, the changing of the leaves in the fall, the blanket of snow and ice in the winter, the growth in the spring. None of this matters to the mountain. It remains its essential self, unwavering, abiding calmness. Its nature remains unchanged by the changing seasons. Anything that may happen on its external, its surface, perhaps even people walking across it, the mountain itself remains unchanged. Whether that mountain is being observed or not, the mountain remains unchanged. Unchanged regardless of the sun or the clouds, the moon or the stars. The mountain simply sits. The mountain sits, unaffected by the weather, unaffected by what is occurring on its surface, which is simply a world of appearances. The mountain remains its essential self through the seasons, the days, the months, all of the changing weather. The mountain remains unchanged in the activity that is ebbing and flowing on its surface. And in this way, as we sit in our mountain meditation, we can learn to experience the mountain. We can embody that same unwavering stillness, abiding in awareness, groundedness, regardless of what changes are going on in our lives. Each day, each hour, each second, week after week, year after year. Any of those changes that are going on, we can remain unwavering and abiding in our true nature of stillness. Our meditation practice gives us the opportunity to experience this. And we can bring this awareness, this deeper knowing, into our everyday life as we observe things constantly changing, those changes happening in the outer world, being experienced. We can begin to see through our meditation how our own minds are constantly moving and ebbing and flowing from the influences of the external world. We can experience how we have these periods, these fluctuations of light and darkness, just like the mountain experiences the sun and the moon. Or moments when there is torrential rain pelting down, and moments when that stops and there is calm. We can experience in our own minds and in our own bodies all these varying intensities and changes and we endure. We endure those periods of pain and darkness, just as we enjoy the moments of joy, happiness, lightness. Our bodies are constantly changing. Our appearance experiences a weathering of its own. This weathering, too, is only on the surface. We can link up to our strength and our stability, the strength and the stability that's been experienced in this mountain meditation. The weathering of the body will continue, the fluctuations of the mind, and yet we remain unwavering in our true nature of stillness. We can come to see how the weathering of the body, the experiences happening around us, aren't personal, just as the activity on the mountain isn't personal to the mountain. We learn that the weather of our own lives isn't to be denied or ignored. It's simply encountered moment by moment, honored in what it is, experienced, and held and observed in a state of awareness. And as we learn to hold the experiences happening in life in this way, we can tap into this deeper inner silence and stillness with a wisdom, a deep knowing that at our core, our essence, we are abiding in awareness. Know that you can come back to this meditation and recognize your strength and your stability, just as you recognize the strength and the stability of a mountain. Feel free to sit here mindfully for as long as you like, resting in your true nature of stillness. Thank you for practicing with me and taking care of yourself. May you be well.